My final project is called Pesticides on Your Plate. I'm aiming my presentation at the American middle-class citizens who have financial support for their children or future children, and the financial freedom to choose their own diet. In addition, my ideal audience is less educated about the source of their produce. I am creating this presentation to bring awareness to my audience regarding the produce products they are consuming and persuade them to purchase organic products. I am using iMovie software to create a visual display of pictures and text. The simple effects used in the presentation will draw the focus of the audience to a particular caption or picture that will captivate them. The simplicity of the presentation as a whole eludes a sense of professionalism, as well as allows the audience to feel stimulated without feeling overwhelmed. In my presentation, I will be using all three rhetorical strategies. By quoting and highlighting national health and farming entities like the CDC, I create a sense of ethos for the audience. Similarly, I create logos by providing hard facts, figures, and strategies through the presentation. However, the most important rhetorical strategy in this presentation is pathos. I begin and end my presentation with a short narration written in the second person. This places the audience into the story, gives them a sense of emotion and an imaginative impact, and creates pathos. Picture this. You enter the grocery store looking to buy some apples. You pick up a cart and head to the produce section. Upon your arrival, you see two sections of apples side by side that look identical. One is labeled organic and the other is not. Which do you choose? Since only 43% of Americans shop organically, we can assume that you grabbed a few inorganic apples and left the store. You bite into your apple and it tastes just as good as any other apple. However, apples are the #1 food product with the most amount of pesticides. Flashing back in this apple's history, it was planted just like any other seed. However, the soil this seed was planted in contains large amounts of chemical fertilizers. As the tree grows, it is soaked in pesticides, synthetic substances, and even neurotoxic insecticides. Depending on the chemical strength and distribution method, these chemicals can be sprayed weekly or even daily, which increases the plant's chemical potency. Most inorganic apples contain high doses of DDT, which is a colorless, tasteless, and almost odorless insecticide. This product genetically modifies the plant so much that some apples no longer turn brown after sun or heat exposure. These chemically induced products get shipped off, end up on your grocery shelves, and no one is the wiser. Although these harmful chemicals don't show up physically on our food, high amounts of these chemicals can be toxic to human health and cause diabetes, nutritional and mineral loss, liver failure, kidney and heart diseases, and most importantly, weight gain. DDT alone may increase the chances of developing Alzheimer's and breast cancer in women. In fact, in 2006, 93% of Americans tested by the CDC tested positive for neurotoxins in their urine. These drugs can be detrimental to our bodies, Earth's sustainability, and our environment as a whole. The produce labeled organic was made without genetic modification or synthetics. Both the product and production are chemical-free and are beneficial for the environment. Organic farms actually produce less waste and use less energy, and they produce food that contains more nutrients than modified fruit. Pesticides and GMOs don't only affect our produce, they affect everything we eat. In fact, one study compares full chickens purchased in grocery stores in 1957 versus chickens purchased in 2001. The chickens purchased in 2001 are twice as big as the 1957 chickens due to added hormones, steroids, and other genetically modified chemicals. We have more control over this issue than you think. Every time you make a purchase at a grocery store, you're casting your vote for which food industry practices you're supporting. Now let's take a step back. You're back in the grocery store, faced with the decision of which apple to buy. Which industry will you support? Which industry do you want your kids to support? One purchase can influence others and make a change. The choice is yours.